Hello and welcome to Miku and Bros podcast. My name is Jamie. Today we have obviously my brother Gregor, and this episode is going to be all about what is true happiness. So, true happiness is a feeling of an immersive feeling that you feel like everything is good inside. It can be literally a state of mind, just feeling fulfilled, or a satisfying feeling that your heart is truly at rest. You're really sort of happy with everything that's going on in your life and where you're at. Gregor, first question for yourself is: have you ever felt this true happiness? Have you ever had this sort of sudden feeling of like everything's good? And if so, tell us when and sort of why. What made you this sort of feeling of true happiness?
Hmm. There's certainly times in my life where I felt true happiness, if you want to phrase it like that. There's certainly some times, I think it does vary depending on the situation and who I'm with and when I do feel that. But it's obviously very subjective and it's like only you that feel it. But for me, in the past, when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about times where I'm doing something that I really enjoy. And for me, that is sports. This is me reflecting on true happiness and thinking about it. So whenever, for example, we're playing like a really top golf course
Yeah,
with, our dad and you, I can think back to playing like Turnberry
yeah,
in the Ayrshire Coast and sort of playing that and just going, the sunset, just setting, or it's a really nice sunny day. It's a shot, you're playing one of the greatest courses in the world, and then you're with family and friends and you're like, what, there's no time for a worry, or there's no need for a worry that crops into your mind.
yeah,
And for me, that was when I was like, oh, this is like, I'm truly happy here. So that's one I can reflect on and go like, yeah, that moment in time I was truly happy, because it's almost like it met everything in that moment met what I would regard as being the best it could have been. Maybe like you could add to that in some way, like say we had like a beers or something like that, and you're like, oh, that adds to the experience, and just like stuff like that. But
yeah,
again, I've had other situations where that's happened, and I could be like, oh, that was true happiness. So yeah, I've certainly had it. I think I have, going by
yeah,
your definition. What about you? Have you? It's a weird concept, but have you sort of like? It's hard to think
yeah.
about it, but moments of like true happiness. Have you had it?
Yeah, 100%. I think probably in the same level as you guys. I think sports is a key thing. Us playing golf and playing these
Okay,
championship course being, I think for both me and you, being so lucky to play some like courses people dream of. Like, if you're a
I
golfer,
know.
Glen Eagles, Tunbury, St Andrews, like some of these courses you just wouldn't imagine it. And you get out on the course and you start playing, and if the weather's really good, yeah, couldn't be any better. But I
I
would
just feel
definitely agree.
I feel so lucky to do that as well. So I guess that's probably part of it as well. It just adds to it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I probably felt it in sort of other moments where I've been either just doing something that your mind's just like can't think about anything that's bad that's happening. Maybe there's stuff still that's going on that's not perfect, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
that's annoying. But you're enjoying something so much, and I think it's physically doing something makes that happiness. You can't
yeah.
get happiness by sitting looking at a TV screen and just being like, oh, I'm happy sitting chilling doing this. I think it's you have to be physical. You have to be out doing stuff. That's
I
what
think,
I look
uh,
at.
yeah, no, I get that. But then, like, if you're watching like a really nice show and you're in the perfect environment and with people that you want to
You
be
like yeah,
with, you could
yeah.
have that. I think you could still have that.
You
I
can
also
still have
think
it.
like evenings with us sitting around the fireplace at home having a
Yeah,
laugh. Like you're giggling away and stuff. That could be like a moment as well, and you're literally doing
100%.
nothing. It's an
Um,
interesting concept. Like, what made you? Because obviously you're the one who sort of came up with this topic for this week. Like,
yeah,
what made you? It's such a different thing that we normally talk about. What made you come up with this idea?
I think I've so basically obviously with changing job, as I've said in the previous, I've recently started with a new company, um, and the change that I've had, it's been good. And in the last week, I've been down at home
Okay,
having basically a week where I've been in the Stirling branch, and I was out, came home from work, enjoyed my day at work. It was good. I got to meet new guys, got to learn a lot, and then I
yeah,
spoke to a girlfriend, had a chat with her, and then I was out in the golf course playing around the golf with a couple of mates, and I just thought I was actually on the golf course and I hit a shot and I hit a really nice shot and I just thought that was really good. But I also just had this all of a sudden feeling of like I felt good. I was like, I've got a new job I'm quite happy about. I've got a girlfriend that I'm, and we're settled, quite happy. I'm
Yeah.
contemplating buying a property together.
Okay.
Just everything, just when I had a whole thought of everything that's going on in my life at the moment, I'm quite happy
Yeah.
with everything that's going on, and it was just like it just felt good, and I still feel that now.
Do
It's
you?
one of the times where I've had
Okay,
this
cool.
time where I'm like, I feel like, yeah, there's stresses in life.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of work with this new job. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be a hard graft, but I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the challenge. I'm looking forward to, now at the stage of, as we've both discussed in the other episodes, of buying a property. I'm looking forward to that next step of actually, going to viewings now. We're booking viewings to
Is
try and go to
it?
see.
Yeah. I don't know if it feels a bit like, do you relate that happiness to things changing in a direction that you expect, or is it more just like, I feel like you are achieving? Are you kind of like achieving what you want to achieve? Is that kind of what it comes down to in life,
It could be
or is it
actually.
just
It
like,
could be.
I don't know? I'm trying to think. Why do you actually feel that way about these? Getting a new job. Quite a lot of people get new jobs. People are buying properties. Like a lot of people buy properties. It's kind of like, why do these things specifically for you make you feel that way? And it's kind of like, I guess everybody's different, but at the same time, it's like if that gives you a lot of joy, then it's obviously very good. It's
Yeah,
interesting. I
I think you're
also,
right thing with the change, the changing of like things happening and moving forward in life.
mm,
You know.
do you have? Does it relate to like your goals? Maybe I think some ways like that is, you've
Yeah.
got a goal of doing all these sort of things and moving up in the world and buying a property and stuff like that. Um, do you feel like sometimes if you are truly happy, this is maybe going a bit different direction, but it's like if you're truly happy, then does your motivation go?
Motivation. Okay. So you're saying like if you're truly happy, your motivation to continue is not as much, or what? Sorry, just trying
Yeah,
to
sorry.
understand what you.
That's where I'm coming out with that.
So yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think so. I think yeah, you have that period of time where you're going to be settled and happy, but that's never forever. You're always going to want that little bit more, the next step or the next level, or go up the ladder. You
Do
might
you
get a new job
feel?
and be like, are you quite happy with what you're on, the wage you're on? Do you want to go up to more of a senior role? Like I think that's like always some of these sort of things that people think about. Because you could be happy and settled, and some people just like, yep, that's me.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Like you know, it's not like your life everything you'd argue that everything in your life you've done has led to this moment in time. But then it's like if you're to go back 5 years and go like, at this age, I want to be doing XYZ, um, and in this sort of line of work, and you know, is that what makes you happy? Like, like you're kind of fulfilling yourself's like dream, or yourself's like, oh, this is good, or is it like the opposite of you're just kind of flowing through life and you feel like things are coming to a point where you feel like, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be at. It's hard
Yeah,
because you could. It's almost like you're reflecting. This is a different point. It's like when you're happy like this, and you're feeling good. It's like you reflect on where you're at in that moment in time, and then if you look forward, say 5 years, because I think of this, and you move forward, you think more forward 5 years, and you're like, where do I want to be in 5 years?
yeah,
And then you go like, oh, that's where the drive comes in, I think, because you're like, I want to get X, Y, Z. I want to be in this position,
yeah,
doing something that's, whatever it is. That I think that's where the drive comes in. So like you could be happy at the moment, but then you take it to the next level of looking forward. And then I don't know, like, how can you be happy about, I guess, if you know your goals, I don't know if you're happy about that, but it seems to be true happiness is in the moment, is maybe the point.
yeah. It's 100%. It's a moment in time where you feel this sudden urge of um, completeness and warmth. I
Mm,
think. But I can get where you're coming from. Like, I think the other things, like if you've had if you've had a bit of a tough time before, or you've been in something you didn't enjoy,
Yeah.
you know, and you make the change, or even just leave the place that
Yeah.
wasn't giving you the joy, that can give you happiness.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Do
at
you
my last job, I went to it and enjoyed
mm,
aspects of it, but I didn't fully enjoy it. It was sitting in an office with no windows, and
I feel like this is also
that environment has changed for me. So
yeah.
that's added to my aspect of I'm now not. I know that I'm not going to be sitting in a wee office anymore.
Yeah. But you're
Things like
tying a
that.
lot yeah, you're tying a lot of your happiness to your job.
Yeah, because
Like that's quite
a job,
interesting.
but I think job and money plays a big factor to the way I feel
Okay.
in life. And your job's a big part of your life. Do you
Mm.
know you spend more hours basically doing work than you do living?
I like doing stuff that you
Yeah,
enjoy basically.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
you get work 8 hours a day, and then what do you do after work? You have maybe a 4 hour window where you maybe do something,
Mm.
and then after that you're away to bed.
Yeah. Do you
You know.
ever yeah, of course. Do you ever get a bit of imposter syndrome with what you're doing? Do you ever feel like that?
Um, I don't think I do.
Okay.
Um, I'm not really sure how to answer it, to be honest. That way, imposter syndrome doesn't something that I know very well. You probably need to describe that to me a bit, Gregor.
So it's like in a way it's like you feel like you're not capable or suited to what you're doing. You feel like out of your depth.
Yeah,
It's like you're an imposter to the environment that you're in, like the job or role that you're doing. You feel like you're not qualified or good enough for it. That's
yeah,
that's what it is. Like sometimes you just feel like, oh God, I'm out my depth. But you're very well capable. Like you're totally well suited to it. Um,
yes,
I wonder if that has ever crept in because I've definitely had that, and you do feel that sometimes, and it's interesting how that plays into like I don't know for you, but like you be motivated to be better because you feel like I'm not good
yeah,
enough, so you just try more, rather than just being like. I feel like when you're happy, you kind of go, oh, you kind of take a foot off the gas and go, oh, yeah, this is great.
yeah. No, I'd actually completely agree with that. So, like, one of the things I think with David Lloyd's, I had a bit of probably that where I hit a wall at one point. And I was like, I just didn't feel like I was probably good enough or in the right place. But when I look back, and I think like it varies in different environments and stuff, and
Mm,
you have to analyze what actually was the reasoning of the way you felt in that situation.
yeah.
Obviously, bringing it back down to sort of the true happiness is was I doing so? Like I when I analyzed that job, I was like, okay, I like being outdoors. I like
Hmm.
talking to people, and I like experiencing new different things all the time.
Of course.
Was I experiencing different things all the time? No. Was I in an environment where I was outside a lot or talking to different people? No, I was in an office that didn't even have windows. Um, would I speak to plenty of people? Yes. But when I was sitting in an office phoning 80 times, 80 phone calls a day, doing like that, or sending emails and stuff. And that's what you did. And I just
Yeah.
found that just mentally draining.
And you're
So
just
for me,
like, you're better than that in a way as well. It's like
yeah.
that's whole center vibes. No, don't want that.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, to
interesting.
bring it back round to it, I think true happiness, I hope everyone can actually have it at some point in their life. I think it's one of these things that you need to have. You need to have moments in your life where you're like, this is good. And if not, figure out or make the change to try and
Hmm.
find that. If you're in a job, so this is for the listeners, if you're in a job and you're like not enjoying it and it's just really miserable, there's plenty of jobs out there. What was it? I'm sure you said, there's a stat out there at the moment that there's more jobs than there is people to fill them. Um,
Something like that.
um,
Yeah, I see your point. It's more like as well. I think is about maybe taking a step back and realizing if that is a time that you're really happy or reflecting on it, because you go through life and you have all these events and you go out and have your drinks and stuff and you have a good time, and then like if you don't take time to go like, oh, that was actually a really nice time and reflect on it, or like when you had your moment on the golf course. I guess
yeah,
golf's great for that because you can take like it's a fairly slow sport, so you can take your time for that. But
yeah.
sorry. phone's gone off.
That's
But
cool.
if you can take that time to reflect on it and go like, oh, that was really a good moment for me in my life, I think that's really positive and good for your mental state, I guess.
Definitely, definitely. Well, short episode for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find your true happiness when you listen to this and think back and reflect on when has been your moment. But yeah, thank you for coming along this week, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye bye.